Tia J, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Tutorial Tuesday, so I will be bringing you a new pattern to work on for Tutorial Tuesday. Last week I gave you a knitting pattern. This week I decided to do a crochet pattern. So if you haven't seen my knitting pattern last week, please take a look at that. The link is in the description box below. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. So let's just go ahead and get started. So in my other videos, I told you that I'm working on a baby blanket for a guy that works in my building at work. So I decided to change what I was doing previously, and you'll know what I'm talking about. If you see my other videos, it's also in the description box below. I decided to do this, what is called corner to corner or C2C blanket. And what it is that you work from the corner and you work your way up. Now I'm not finished with this blanket. However, I still need to add more, obviously, because this is not into a square. But I just wanted to show you some of my progress and also what the pattern looks like as well. So I'm going to move that out the way, and I'm going to do a small swatch on this yarn. So this is just normal worsted weight yarn, and I'm using a size H hook, 5mm. What you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn. You want somewhat of a tail. I just like to have a long tail so that I can weave my ends better. And I'm going to create a knot. Well, I don't create a slip knot. I just put my yarn on my hook and I just give it a little twist, and that's essentially my slip knot. So what I'm going to do is chain up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to chain, all you do is just take the yarn, wrap, bring through the hole, 6. Okay? Alright, so now from the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to do a double crochet. So to do a double crochet, you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it into the chain, and the chain will be that loop that's right there. Bring it into that loop, wrap the yarn around, pull the yarn through. Now you have 3 chains on your hook. So then you're going to wrap the yarn again, pull through 2. You have 2 chains, pull through 2, 1. So you just did a double crochet. You're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So wrap the yarn around, go through the next loop, bring the yarn through, and now you have 3 loops. Then you're going to wrap the yarn again, pull through 2, wrap the yarn again, and pull through the last 2. One more chain to go. Wrap the yarn around, go into the next loop, wrap the yarn, pull up the loop. Now you have 3 loops. Now you have 3 loops. Oops, excuse me. Now you have 3 loops. Then you're going to wrap the yarn again, go through 2, and then go through 2 more. So now you should have 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 double crochets. So what you're going to do now from here is chain 6 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now, same as before, in the 4th chain from the hook, you're going to do a double crochet. So to count, you don't count the one that's on the hook, you count the next loop off the hook, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do your double crochet. All right, so now you have essentially 2 boxes, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to join at this end space, which would be essentially your chain 3. So you take your hook and you go through this chain 3 space, pull up a loop. You have 2, pull through that loop, and you just created a slip knot. So now every time you create a slip knot, you're going to chain 3 because that's your starting chain. So you chain 1, 2, and 3. So now you're going to do 3 double crochets in this hole. All right, because essentially this is counted as 1 chain, 1 double crochet. So you're going to do 3 more because you always want to have 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. So now if you see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. And you see you started your corner. So you started out with 1, then you just did 2. So that's how your corner is working up. And what we're doing is actually, what we just created is this corner right here. We just did 1, and then we did 1, 2. So now we have to do 3. 1, 2, and then 3. So that's what we're going to do right now. So how do we work up? You guessed it. We chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then on the 4th loop from the hook, 4th chain from the hook, you're going to do a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you place a double crochet. Then double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. To verify, you have 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet. So you should always have 4 double crochets. So now to join, you're going to take your needle, your hook, go into this chain 3 space, which is at the very top, and you're going to create a slip stitch, which essentially is just putting your hook through, wrapping your yarn around, bringing up, you have 2 loops, then bringing again through that loop, and you have only 1 loop on your hook, and that is a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets into this same hole. And to double crochet, wrap the yarn around, stick it into the hole, wrap the yarn, and pull through. You have 3 chains on your hook. Wrap the yarn again, and you're going to go through 2. Wrap the yarn again, and you're going to go through the next 2, and you just created a double crochet. So we have 3, so now we need 1 more because we always need 4 double crochets. Then you stick your hook in, and you go through that hole, and you create another slip knot. Chain 3, and then 3 double crochets into that same hole. Make sure 4 double crochets. So now we just did 3 squares. So we started with 1, we did the 2, now we did the 3. So we're going to go to the 4th one. And like I said, I'm making this very small. So I'm going to stop when we get to 5 rows. And then I'll show you how we decrease to make it a square, rectangle, however you want to make it. You can, this is not just a baby blanket pattern. You can do it as a scarf, however you choose to fit. So we're chaining 6, 4, 5, 6. Fourth chain from the hook, we're double crocheting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stick your hook inside that loop, pull up a chain. You have 3 loops. Then you yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Do it one more time. And again. So, to join, you stick your hook inside, go through this hole, and you can always just spread them apart so that you can find it. Go through the hole, pull up, and go through and slip stitch. Then yarn 3, 1, 2, 3. That's considered 1 double crochet, so you need 3 more double crochets. Then, when you finish, you go through the next hole to slip stitch. Yarn, you chain 3, and then 3 double crochets. Then stick your hook into the next one, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. And this is how you keep building and building until you get the desired length that you want. So at the end of each, you would always chain 3, do 3 more double crochets, chain up 6, and then in the 4th chain from the hook, you double crochet and then double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And you keep doing that on this end, and you keep doing that on that end until you get the size that you want. So I'm going to go do this one more time, and then I'll start my decrease. I'm coming up on my last square. I am slipping the stitch, chaining up 3, and 3 double crochet. All right, so say you wanted to keep this length, right? But you wanted to stop it here. So what you would do is you wouldn't chain up 6, because that's what we normally do. You would flip your work around, and then you would go into that very stitch right here, and you would slip, and then go to the next one, and you would slip it, go to the 3rd one, and you will slip the stitch. Then that should bring you to this hole, or the chain 3 space that we've been working on. So then you would bring your hook in there and slip in there. Now chain 3 again like we've been doing, and then 3 double crochets like we've been doing in the previous rows. So now, if you see, we essentially stopped the growth, and now we're making it flat and even. So that's what we're doing right now. And that's just for this side, because we're choosing to keep this sample this width. All right, so you always want to measure. If you're making a blanket, if you're making a scarf, whatever you're making, you always want to measure how wide and how long you want it. So this is the length that we're going to keep it, and then we're going to work on the width. So all I'm doing now is just slipping in the next square, chaining up 3 and 3 double crochets. Going to the next square, chaining up 3. If I can keep the yarn in the hook, and 3 double crochets. 2. Okay. Going to the next square, chaining up 3 double crochet. Going to the next square, chaining up 3 double crochet. So, like we said, we want to continue to make this longer, right? We want to continue making this longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 6 like we've done. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in the 4th chain from the hook, we just continue the repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hook in the yarn, pull up a loop, give you 3, yarn over 2, and then yarn over 2 more. Go into the next stitch and do the same exact thing. And in the last stitch, do the same thing. Then you go into the next square. And I think by now you guys should know exactly what to do. Slip stitch, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets. And you continue till you get to the last square, and instead of increasing, we're going to keep it at its form so that it will remain flat. All right, I'm coming up to my last one, so I'm going to, and I can tell because see, it's already forming right here. So I'm chaining 3, and then I'm doing 3 double crochets as normal. And then I am slip stitching into my next square. Okay, so instead of me chaining 6 to make another square, I'm flipping my work around, and then I'm slip stitching in these chain 3s or the double crochets that I've created. Just slip stitching so that I can get back to my other hole. And now I'm here. And so all I'm doing is slip stitching here, chaining 3, and 3 double crochets across. And what that did was make this flat. So now I'm making it flat on this side, but I'm still increasing on this end. So you see how that's working up? You see how that's working up? I'm decreasing on this one, but I'm increasing. So I think I want to go ahead and make this now to be flat as well so that they can join together to make one little square. And so that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to decrease. So once you get the length and the width that you want your scarf, your blanket, whatever you're making, then you want to start decreasing on both sides. Once you get the width that you want, you stop and you decrease on that side, but you keep increasing until you get the length that you want. But once you get the length and the width that you want, you decrease on both sides. So I do the same steps that I've been doing, slip stitching, chaining up 3, and then 3 double crochets in this same hole until I get to the end of my square. I'm at my last square. Same steps, slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Now I am going to slip stitch into this hole, and normally I would increase by chaining up 6 and going from there, but I'm not. I'm going to turn my work around and I'm going to slip stitch in these double crochets until I get to the hole of my chain 3. And now I'm decreasing on each side. So now I'm at the hole and I make my slip stitch, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets just like before. And after a while, when you're doing this too, you're going to see what needs to be done, you know, where you're at in your work. If you was to put this down and, you know, pick it back up again, this is an easy project or easy steps, and it's so repetitive that you're going to learn the double crochet stitch. You're going to learn how to slip stitch and chain. And so once you continuously do this all the time, and however big you make it, you're going to be masters at double crochet. So I'm slip stitching right now, and I'm chaining 3, and I'm ready to decrease again. And so now I'm doing my 3 double crochets, slip stitching in the next square, turning my work around, and then slip stitching back to get to my chain 3 space. In the comments below, if you're a knitter and a crocheter, let me know which one you like the most. Is knitting something that you enjoy doing the most? Is crocheting something you enjoy doing the most? Or do you not just have a preference? Me personally, like I said before, it's different phases with me. You know, there'll be projects that I do that all I want to do is crochet it, or all I want to do is knit it. And this year I seem to be picking back up crochet because I've been doing a lot of knitting projects because I'm into knitting socks right now. And so now I'm at my last square, and I'm slip stitching and I'm chaining 3, and then I'm doing 3 double crochets. So if you can tell, now I'm slip stitching here and turning my work. If you can tell, we have one more box left, and then we will be done. Okay, so you know what to do. Slip stitch these double crochets. If you don't knit or crochet, being that you've seen this crochet tutorial and then hopefully you've seen my knitting tutorial, which one looks easier? Knitting or crocheting? Which one looks easier? Leave a comment below and let me know. Alright, so this is my last box. So I am joining in the chain 3 space, slip stitch, and now you don't have to turn your work around, slip stitch through these double crochets because we don't need to go anywhere else. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull up a loop because now you're ready to cut your yarn. But I'm not going to cut my yarn because all I wanted to do was to crochet up a sample of how I'm making my the blanket for, you know, the guy that works in my building. But this will be essentially how you do the corner to corner stitch. You would cut the yarn, put the yarn through this loop, pull it tight, and then weave in your ends. And this is the corner to corner square and rectangle. You can always do different styles with it. If you want to do stripes, you can. If you go to my Instagram page, which is Beautifully Unique Boutique, you will see there how I did black and gray blanket for, you know, a customer. I did a matching hat. And so it's just be very versatile. Show your creativity when you make this corner to corner blanket, corner to corner scarf. If you do decide to use this pattern on Instagram, use the hashtag Alicia Yarn C, the number 2, and then C. So Alicia Yarn C2C. The hashtag will be in the description box below. And I would love to see how creative you guys get with this corner to corner pattern. It's an easy pattern, very easy to follow. All you're doing is double crochets, slip stitches, and chains, and anybody can do this pattern. So thank you all for watching, and be sure to check out my next video. Bye.